watching WNBC for New York. And now, Chuck Scarborough, Carol Jenkins, Al Roker, and Len Berman. This is News for New York at 6.
Good evening. Was it guilt, or was it sympathy, or was it a demented mind?
An intruder attacks a woman and then helps nurse her back to health. The New Jersey woman was badly beaten in her own home, but even through her pain, she couldn't help but be astonished by what the burglar did next. It was a frightening Jekyll and Hyde performance. News 4's Stephen Dunlop reports.
Leonia is a Bergen County suburb where the crime blotter rarely lists anything more serious than a burglary or a car theft. But police can't remember a more bizarre case here than one reported early Wednesday morning on Hillside Avenue. A 40-year-old woman was in bed with the TV on when she heard a loud crash against the wind chimes on her upstairs porch.
She got up to investigate, and she was confronted by a male who at that point assaulted her with a 10-inch Coke bottle.
The woman, whose identity police are protecting, was struck at least 8 times with the Coke bottle. She suffered injuries to her head, chin, and hand. But then suddenly, and for no apparent reason, the attacker changed his tone. He offered to find his nightshirt-clad victim a pair of blue jeans to put on. He found her a blanket when she said she was cold, and he even got her a towel in which she could wrap her injured head.
And then brought her a telephone to call assistance. He stayed with her approximately 20 or 30 minutes, holding her hand, assuring her that she would be okay, and then left the dwelling.
Police quoted the attacker as telling the victim before he left, "I didn't hit you that hard. Let me check the wound. It doesn't look that bad. I don't want to go to jail." The incident left neighbors stunned and more than a little scared.
I'm scared. I really am scared right now, you know, because you never know what can happen. Even if this is a quiet town, you don't know where people come from.
If the woman did know her attacker, police say it's odd that she could provide them with only a sketchy description and apparently did not recognize the sound of his voice. The more likely explanation, officials say, is that they're dealing with a peeping Tom in one of the strangest peeping Tom cases they've ever seen. Steve Dunlop, News 4, Leonia.
And this note, the woman was supposed to get married on Saturday.
Well, Nassau County's top cop says gunwoman Amy Fisher and confessed serial killer Joel Rifkin have given the county a bad rap. D.A. Dennis Dillon says actually the crime rate in Nassau is lower than it's been in years, lower than Suffolk, he says, or Westchester. The number of murders in 1992 was 24 compared to 42 in 1991. The number of reported burglaries was 6,596 compared to more than 7,200 in 1991. And here's one crime making the record books in Nassau. The police say they found 4 guns in the trunk of a car at Syosset High School. One of them was a powerful AK-47 assault weapon. Police are charging 17-year-old Stuart Wildstein, a student there, with illegally possessing them. The police say an anonymous phone tip led them to the guns and to the teenager.
Well, tonight a crime-busting canine is being credited with nabbing a gun-toting teenage robbery suspect in the Bronx. Kevin Rosen has a report.
You talk about taking a bite out of crime. Well, meet Yodi, a 2.5-year-old, 125-pound Rottweiler. She's employed by the Allerton Security Company, which patrols the Allerton housing complex. It was on patrol with Security Captain Ricardo Garcia and Sergeant Catherine Lugo that Yodi sprung into action. Police say 16-year-old LeVar Legary had just robbed a livery cab at gunpoint and fled in Yodi's direction. A cab driver pointed out the suspect to Captain Garcia as he was patrolling around the housing complex. The suspect ran into this housing project across the street. Captain Garcia gave chase and finally cornered him at the entrance of one of the buildings.
I had his hands. I was holding his hands as I was struggling with him. As I looked down on his hand, I saw what appeared to be a weapon.
It was a sawed-off pump shotgun. Trained to sniff out weapons, Yodi leaped, snatching the bag and gun from the suspect's hands before he could grab the weapon.
I gave her enough slack, just enough to get in there and take a bite of the bag. And
how do you pay a dog back for what she did, becoming a hero?
T-bone steaks.
Police credit the security company and its hero dog with good police work.
You know, this is a perfect example of community policing. It's, you know, it's everyone working together towards the same end.
Even a dog.
Even the dog.
And just in case you might be thinking about crime in Yodi's domain, well, here's what she has to say. And believe it, her bite is worse than her bark. In the Bronx, Kevin Rosen, News 4, New York.
Well, the suspect is charged with stealing $8, a watch, and 2 rings from the cab driver.
Well, it's happened again for the second time within a month. EMS pronounced a person dead, but to everybody's surprise, the person was not. The latest incident happened last night when 86-year-old Ferdinand Elkins suffered a heart attack, and she was pronounced dead in her Park Avenue co-op. The doctors and paramedics tried to revive the woman for 45 minutes before they declared her dead. But then as they were packing up, they suddenly noticed a change in the cardiac monitor, and they rushed her to Mount Sinai Hospital. Doctors say this doesn't always happen.
But has it ever happened to you, where you've declared someone dead and they're not dead?
No, I've never declared somebody dead who has not been dead.
Mrs. Elkin is still listed in critical condition at this hour. EMS is investigating.
Well, the Clintons wanted to put a personal face on the health care crisis, so they invited ordinary citizens to the White House to share their personal horror stories, among them a young woman from Flushing who was jobless with no health insurance.
Glad to have a chance to voice my concerns and hear the concerns of other people and know that they were listening.
Stacy Askew after her emotional session in the Rose Garden with Bill and Hillary Clinton. She read her letter, one of 700,000 Hillary Clinton's task force received during the formation of the Clinton plan. Riveting stories of the sick being denied care, of the poor being denied care, of the terminally ill being abruptly terminated by insurance companies.
I might be in an accident or get taken to the hospital, or that I might get sick and need attention. I don't mean to be overly emotional about my situation, but it's a terrifying prospect that I might be refused care.
Elements of the Clinton plan have been leaked, and today's Rose Garden encounter, as well as Hillary Clinton's address to the Black Caucus today, are events meant to sell that proposal, which promises universal health care, with thousands of people grouped together to purchase insurance, resulting in perhaps an $1,800 cost for coverage for an individual, $4,200 a year for a family. Employers will be made to pay for 80% of that cost, the worker 20%. Self-employed will pay all, but all will be deductible. Aware that many small businesses in America are protesting what they call a potentially crippling expense, the president paid a visit to a Washington hardware store where he had little success convincing the owner otherwise.
Mr. President, small business cannot afford this plan.
In our area, the owner of the Homestead restaurant in Manhattan also rejects the idea.
It's a very large amount of money that would affect this restaurant and any other business who presently have employees who are paying for their own health care right now. And what President Clinton is proposing is that we pick up 80% of the charge.
Well, we are happy to report that Stacy has found a job with benefits. President Clinton will present his plan to Congress next Wednesday night, and you can see it live here on Channel 4 and reaction and analysis on News 4 at 11. Chuck.
Well, locally, the health of Liz Holtzman's campaign is in serious doubt tonight. The controller was forced into a runoff election against Alan Hevesy, and now she is certainly under fire for serious conflict of interest charges. News 4's Pablo Guzman has the latest concerning a bank loan that's proving to be a political hot potato.
If you saw this front page while you passed the newsstand, it certainly caught your attention. Controversial, but something on a lot of minds. A bit dramatic, perhaps, but the question remains. Elizabeth Holtzman, should she go? The mayor tried to maintain a cool aloofness on the subject.
Well, I make no judgment on when she should go, or if she should go. It's a very personal judgment, and it is hers to make.
This runoff that's taking place on September 28th, and given the events of yesterday...
You're right. The voters might decide in a couple of weeks.
But at Wednesday's City Hall rally of Democrats, he certainly was more supportive of Holtzman's opponent.
And I'm so pleased that Alan Hevesy is here with us today, and I congratulate him on his success.
Holtzman's absence at that gathering was glaring. Instead, she was preparing her defense in the court of public opinion.
Standing here right now, I'm not sure. I'd have to go over my testimony about that. I'm not sure what I testified to about that. I don't recall now. Now I believe, with regard to the breakfast, that I don't remember. I know I don't remember it now. I know I didn't remember it at the time I testified before DOI, and I'm not sure I remembered it at the time the loan was taken out. I believe I didn't. Okay. Any other questions?
We tried reaching Holtzman or a supporter for comment on whether she should step aside, but the Jewish holiday did not make a connection possible. Still, on this new year, Holtzman must be pondering her fate and whether a career in office will be there in the new year. Pablo Guzman, News 4, New York.
Holtzman's staff expects her to be out campaigning vigorously this weekend. And up next, as we continue, if you are a working mom or dad, what are the best companies for you to work for? You know, the ones that really go an extra mile to offer child care and other special benefits? Well, there is a new list out tonight, and we'll tell you who is on top in our area and why.
Plus, we'll tell you the kind of craziness you'll be facing if your kids are going back to city schools on Monday, and why your office got a message today from the mayor. Next.
What makes your Toyota dealer's clearance time sell down so special? Year-end clearance deals on the good stuff. The cars with 4 models ranked among the top 10 models in initial quality. Camry, Tercel, Corolla, and Paseo. Like great lease deals on a Camry. You'll never get another chance to lease the best car built in the U.S. for $259 a month. And that's for the family car ranked best model in initial quality in its price class. It's all part of the clearance time sell down at your Toyota dealer. Get there before another minute, and another 5 Toyotas are gone.
It's the sale of the season. A&S Anniversary Sale. All that's new. All that's you. 20 to 50% off store-wide. It's the long vest and wide leg pants. It's booties that are one step ahead. It's the all-important leather. Mark by Andrew Mark. It's the old-fashioned quilt made by hand. Any size at one outstanding price. And more. 20 to 50% less store-wide. A&S Anniversary Sale. Now through Tuesday at every A&S store. Terrific.
Well, it's certainly not the kind of crime you'd expect at a suburban parochial school. Police say a 17-year-old shot a classmate in the parking lot of Immaculata High School in Somersville, New Jersey. The shooting happened during an argument. The victim, Raymond Giuliano, is in the hospital in fair condition with a bullet wound in the buttocks. The suspected gunman is charged with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and with weapons possession. In the city, the asbestos mess has city and school officials trying to reassure skeptical parents that classes can and will begin on Monday. Some Elmhurst parents complain they paid for a botched asbestos inspection, and they wonder why the schools, which weren't safe to open in September, suddenly are.
Why make the potential for a health risk go on longer? Last year they didn't know about this, supposedly. Now they do. Clean it up.
If we had have known what we know now, just before the night, we might have made a decision to open then. But we didn't know that.
Well, Cortine says before, the city wasn't working with inspectors as a team. The chancellor's urging employers to be more flexible with parents of city school kids in case they run into problems on what is expected to be a very chaotic Monday.
Oh, whether your kids are school-age, preschool, or infants, working parents have much more on their minds these days. It helps when the company you work for cares, too, and Working Mother magazine has drawn up a list of the top 100 companies that are progressive in their support of mothers and fathers. The magazine considered pay, advancement opportunities, child care, and family-oriented benefits such as parental leave and flexible scheduling. 4 companies based in our area are among the top 10. AT&T, IBM, Johnson & Johnson, and Xerox. Also making the top 100 list is Prudential. And Lou Young visited that company's Roseland, New Jersey offices.
This is a new face in corporate America. These children, some as young as 6 weeks old, are the sons and daughters of Prudential insurance employees. Parents pay up to $163 a week to have the little ones nearby where they work, anywhere between 6:30 in the morning and 6 o'clock at night. And this is one major reason Prudential made Working Mother magazine's top 100 list.
It's right down the street from where I work, and I can come here, and a lot of times I come here once a week to visit. I have 2 children here. I know my daughter's in a good hands, and she's learning, and she's safe.
On-site daycare like this is desirable, but not essential to make the list. About half the companies on the list don't have centers like this, but all of them do something to help parents. Some of them have referrals to daycare centers in the area or help with flexible hours so employees can be good parents and good employees. The woman who helped compile the list of mommy-friendly firms says flexible hours are probably as important as anything else.
Look at New York City, for example. Schools don't start until almost 9 o'clock. Well, parents have to be at the office at 9 o'clock. What do? You don't just drop your kid and run. You have to make sure that they're there safely. So that's where flex time comes in.
The folks at the magazine have been compiling the list for 8 years, and they say it's getting bigger and things are getting better for parents across the country, but there is still a very long way to go.
How come you don't do the worst companies for working women in America?
we couldn't handle the flood of applicants from employees. There are too many worse companies.
The Labor Department says by the turn of the century, only 7 years from now, 2/3 of the people entering the workforce will be women, and 3/4 of them will have babies. So increasingly, you can assume making this list will become increasingly important for American business in the future. In Roseland, New Jersey, Lou Young, News 4 New York.
And how popular is Prudential's daycare center? Well, it nurtures 100 children a day, and there are another 100 employees on the waiting list.
Well, is the sun going to come out for the weekend? Al has the forecast straight ahead.
Plus, David Letterman had the pedal to the metal until he fell into a Westchester speed trap. We'll tell you how fast he was going and whose car he was driving in just a minute.
Watch this. You're going around a turn. Suddenly your engine is racing like crazy, but you're hardly moving. Then thump. Your transmission catches. Big trouble? Not always. AMCO's trained mechanics will check your transmission like nobody's business. They have the experience to find the small problem that acts like a big one. Truth is, half the cars serviced by AMCO don't need a new transmission. If your transmission's slipping, go to AMCO. AAMCO.
Dual airbags.
Check.
Available anti-lock brakes.
Check.
Crumple zones.
Check.
Rigid steel passenger cage.
Ooh, check.
The all-new 94 Mitsubishi Galant will pass your safety check with flying colors. And starting at $14,020, it will pass the checkbook test.
Check.
Test drive the all-new Galant at your Tri-State Mitsubishi Motors dealer today.
Well, we don't know why David Letterman was in such a hurry to get home to Connecticut after taping his show Monday night. Maybe it was to see that strange lady, see if she was there in the house. Anyway, a police officer says he clocked Dave doing 78 through Westchester. Letterman got a ticket. It is his 6th in 2 years. This one's going to cost him up to $275. And the car he was driving, by the way, according to police, was a red Dodge registered to an old friend. NBC.
Right. Not exactly
Gunning
intellectual
NBC.
property, but property nevertheless.
Property nonetheless. We forgot to get the Dodge back, wouldn't you know?
Not bad. Well, I'll tell you, good thing he hasn't been driving a convertible because it has not been convertible weather. Let's take a look outside, see what's happening. It is still 58 degrees and cloudy and foggy out there. It is going to be very foggy over tonight, tomorrow morning. Take a look. Can't even see the top of the Empire State Building. Rest of the Central Park readings. Well, at this hour, we've got northeasterly winds at 12. That's why it has been so raw and cool and drizzly. Relative humidity, 93%. Barometer, 30.25. It's rising. 69 the high today, the overnight low 58. There's your sunrise, sunset. Take a quick look, show you what's going on with Doppler 4, and you'll see that we do have a few showers, mostly out over the Atlantic. We've got light drizzle around the region, but it's so light, really not getting picked up by the radar. But as we take a look, here's what's happening. Here's why we're getting this weather. Big area of high pressure. It is funneling in a northeasterly flow of air, so very cool air coming off the Atlantic. We've got low pressure down around the Carolinas. Weak showers working their way into the region. Tonight, drizzly, kind of raw, foggy on into tomorrow morning. During the day tomorrow, the high pressure moves away. Wind shift to the east-southeast, so we won't be quite as cool as we were today. Temperatures a little bit warmer, but still a heck of a lot of moisture as low pressure works its way up. We look for scattered showers around, cloudy skies. Not a lot of good news to talk about, and in fact, the weekend doesn't get that much better. And for those of you still thinking about going out to the Bronx and Yankee Stadium, well, going to be a lot of rather cool temperatures in the mid-50s and some scattered drizzle around. So, forecast looks like this for you. For tonight, again, patchy dense fog, clouds, showers hanging around. Overnight lows a little on the chilly side. Low to mid-50s north and west. The mid to upper 50s along the coastal sections with, again, the clouds, the showers, and the fog. And as far as the 5 days ahead are concerned, tomorrow more clouds, a high of only 65 degrees, a little cooler than usual. Saturday, not bad. Variably cloudy, scattered showers, especially in the morning, and about 72 degrees. And then moving on into the weekend, Sunday, pretty darn good. Partly sunny and 72 degrees. And as we get ready for the start of school on Monday in New York City, great weather for the kids to go back. Sunshine, temperature of 68 degrees. Tuesday, sunny skies and a high of about 70. So looks like we've got some more of this rather more than fall-like weather, almost late fall-like weather to contend with for tomorrow. Then things get better as we head into the weekend.
We have been sort of afflicted with rapid season changes, though.
Yes, we have. Yesterday, 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Today, 58 really for the high.
Great. Well, thank you, Al. You're going to give us, again, tonight at 11, school weather warning.
Yes, weather warnings. Yes. Weather warnings for school.
That's right.
Don't you hate
Weather
those short naps? Wow. You know, it just kind of breaks up the day, though, doesn't it?
Thank you, Al.
Thanks, Al. Coming up as we continue for you, there was a classic matchup in the Bronx tonight. Sal is at the stadium live with a preview for us.
That's right, Chuck. If the rain doesn't get in the way, the Yankees and Red Sox begin the most important series for the Yankees since 1985. That plus fresh news about Emmitt Smith coming up if you keep it where it is.
Tonight, the wait is over. It's the most exciting night you'll ever have in your entire life.
Hanging on a bit thick, don't you think?
It's the season premiere of NBC Thursday with Mad About You, TV's favorite couple.
Wow.
Sure. Then the premiere of Wings and the premiere of Seinfeld. Sorry, we can't tell you what it's about.
They're mysterious little fellows, aren't they?
You don't want to miss this one, so call your friends. Then the premiere of Frasier. The critics say it looks like a hit.
Because if it isn't, I walk.
The premieres you've been waiting for. NBC tonight.
Crave the taste, crave the good times. Hear the crunch, that crunch is calling you. Stouffer's French bread, pizza, now we've got something brand new.
Now Stouffer's has 2 new ways to satisfy your craving. New white pizza with cheeses, garlic, and herbs. And new garden vegetables loaded with peppers, onions, and mushrooms.
Stouffer's French bread, pizza, nothing comes closer to home.
It's pretty safe to say that nobody's going to award us the Nobel Prize for designing a filtering system for Sunoco gasoline. But what this filter does is keep the tiny particles that can find their way into gasoline from finding their way into your engine. We've been told we're a tad on the obsessive side. Tell that to the guy on the side of the road with a clogged fuel line.
Ever since I was a little girl, I knew I wanted to fly, and when I got the opportunity to fly jets, I just had to go for it. I wanted to buy a fun car that kind of gave everyone else on the road an impression of my personality. And therefore, I was looking for something fun and sporty and sleek and looked like it could possibly take off if given the proper runway.
As we were saying, classic matchup at Yankee Stadium. Sal Marciano is on the scene for us. Sal?
Okay, Chuck, the Dallas Cowboys have scheduled a news conference for 9 p.m. Eastern Time to reveal that their running back Emmitt Smith has agreed to terms. He's expected to play against Phoenix on Sunday. Meanwhile, here at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees have brought that wet and cold weather from Milwaukee yesterday. And here's Frank Albo, the head groundskeeper. Are they going to be able to get this one in if there's no rain?
Yes, sir. No problem at all. We should be all right.
Okay, tonight, Toronto is off. The Yankees could cut the Blue Jays' first-place lead to 2 games if they beat the Red Sox, and there are 15 games left to play. Yankees and Red Sox waiting out the rain. Early arrivals here at Yankee Stadium. Boston starts Frank Viola. The Yankees go with Scott Kamenicki. I asked manager Buck Showalter about Kamenicki.
Well, you know, I think hopefully Cammy's turned a corner as a pitcher. We know it's been well documented how well he's pitched at home, but he's also had a lot of problems as of late with the hamstring. Hopefully we're over that, and we're going to get to see Cammy on a regular basis from here on out. You know, we need him to pitch like he's pitched at times this year, and you know, he's become at times here a total pitcher, and we hope it continues starting tonight.
Last night, Paul Molitor sparked the Blue Jays with 4 runs batted in as Toronto out-hit Detroit 14-8. Molitor with a 3-run homer as the Blue Jays won their 5th in a row, matching their season best.
Well, Jim, you don't get to scoreboard watch tonight. Toronto is off. Does that help?
Yeah, well, the good thing is we can gain a half a game, you know, with a victory here, and it seems like every time they do have a day off, we gain a game somehow, or at least a half a game. But, you know, we're looking forward to it. We got a big series here with Boston. We got to try to win 3 out of 4 and see what we can do.
The numbers indicate the Yankees' mediocre pitching. All-star Jimmy Key, the only dependable starter at 17-5. Bob Wickman, the swingman who's come out of the bullpen too, is 12-4. Scott Kamenicki pitches better at home. Jim Abbott and Melito Perez have been inconsistent and disappointing. And rookies Domingo John, Mark Hutton, and Sterling Hitchcock haven't improved the rotation in September at 3 wins and 3 losses.
The rumor persists of another acquisition. Is that possible, perhaps Frank Tanana?
Well, you know, you're always looking into things. We've been looking at things since day one. If there's an opportunity to improve the club, we're certainly going to do it. And we're certainly looking into the ways to improve the club, even at this late stage. And there's been a lot of names bandied about by us and our people. And, you know, we'll see where it takes us.
The Mets are off tonight. Meanwhile, baseball's best story is happening in Atlanta for the 3rd straight year. Last night, Cincinnati led the Braves by a score of 5-2 in the bottom of the 9th. Rookie Ryan Klesko, just up from the minors, slugged a 2-run homer. Reds lead cut to 5-4. And then Ron Gant belted a game-winning 3-run homer. The Braves won 7-6, their 9th win in their last 10 games. Atlanta leads San Francisco by 3.5 games. The Giants, who are nosediving, are off tonight. Today in Manhattan at the offices of the American League, Dr. Bobby Brown, the president, presiding, there were coin flips to determine what happens if there are ties in the American League East. If the Yankees tie Toronto, the Yankees get the home game. If the Yankees tie the Orioles, Baltimore gets the home game. What if there are three-way ties? This is what Dr. Brown had to say.
If there's a three-way tie between Baltimore, New York, and Toronto, Toronto plays New York in Toronto. The winner then plays Baltimore in the winner's home park.
It isn't always neat in baseball. Odd play last night in the American League as Texas handed Cleveland 2 runs and a grounder. Albert Bell hit the ball. Dean Palmer threw wildly to first base, so Felix Fermin scored. Well, that's okay. Rangers pitcher Roger Pavlik took the throw to the plate. He threw wildly past third, allowing Bell to circle the bases for the second run. 2 errors, 2 runs, but Texas won anyway, 7-4. Here at Yankee Stadium, no rain so far. Back at 11 with the highlights and the lowdown. Now back to the studio.
All right, Sal, thank you.
Very much. Well, Sue Simmons is in our newsroom with a look at some of the stories we're working on for News 4 at 11. Sue.
Well, Carol, thank you. We'll have a health warning from the Centers for Disease Control. We'll tell you why doctors are urging many of us to protect ourselves from a common virus now. And they look like ordinary writing instruments, but police say these pens are some of the deadliest weapons around, and they've busted a New Jersey chiropractor for allegedly trying to sell them to support his drug habit. Details on these stories and a lot more at 11. Right now, Tom Brokaw joins us now with a look at what's ahead on NBC Nightly News. Tom?
Sue, we have another kind of health warning from the president tonight. He says that the new health care plan will cost some Americans more than others. Also on America Close Up tonight, if you owe back taxes, the IRS now is prepared to deal, and it's a deal you can't refuse. We'll have these stories and more news tonight when we come back here at 6:30. Chuck?
All right, Tom, thank you. See you then. And finally on this program, it's Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year. Jews around the world are celebrating the New Year of 5754. The blowing of the ram's horn, the shofar, heard in synagogues around the world today. This past year is being remembered as a year of peace. The historic handshake of Rabin and Arafat signifying a new era. At a synagogue in Lynbrook, Long Island, as in temples around the world, people pray this peace accord will work. And from us to you, a very happy New Year.
Absolutely.
That's our news. Stay tuned now for Tom Brokaw with complete coverage of world and national events on NBC Nightly News, and I'll see you again with Sue Simmons at 11 o'clock.
Good night.